Hi, and welcome to Michigan Matters. Things are about to rev up in the Motor City as the Chevy Detroit Grand Prix, presented by Lear, takes to the streets to the delight of hundreds of thousands of fans who can't wait. Bud Denker, chair of the event, is here to give us a preview and talk about what's new. He'll also discuss a new IndyCar race they're staging in Washington, D.C. in a couple months. Then the Michigan Science Center is in the spotlight as we talk to Christian Greer and Letty Azar about what's new. It's a show about exciting things taking place in Metro Detroit, thanks to some community champions, and let's just get started.
From CBS Detroit, this is Michigan Matters with Carol Kane. Michigan Matters is brought to you in part by Cure Auto Insurance.
And we're joined by Bud Denker, a longtime friend of this show, who may be the busiest executive in town as he oversees the Detroit Chevy Grand Prix presented by Lear. And you're putting on a new race in Washington, D.C., and you're involved with the Indy 500, which is going on today. And, oh, yeah, your day job, you oversee Penske Corporation. You're president of that. How are you?
Yes, I just try to keep up with Roger because Roger's on top of all this as well. We're doing great, and it's the fact that we've got a lot of great things going on right now in our country, and a lot of things great going on in our businesses, and a lot of things going on in IndyCar that we're so excited about what's going on today in Indianapolis, of course, with the biggest race in the world. And then with 355,000 people there, if you can imagine it, sold out. And then we are 5 days away from the Detroit Grand Prix and 90 days away from the Freedom 250 Grand Prix.
Holy God. And that's amazing. You're starting a race from scratch in a matter of months here. The whole thing's crazy. We're going to dive in, but I have to ask you about a big development that affected Detroit politically, the city, what have you. Mike Duggan, who is an independent candidate for governor, who Roger Penske has endorsed, and I know he's a friend of his, and I know you've been friends with Mike, decided not to run for governor, withdrew suddenly. And what does that say? I mean, what do you think about that? Have you talked with him?
No, I haven't yet. Mike's been, as you mentioned, a good friend. He's led Detroit for all these years, and because of that, we know him well. We all know him well in this community because we're all from this central Detroit area. So I was surprised. I think many of us were caught off guard by that, but it's politics is politics, and which is why we're in private enterprise and not in politics. I'm happy to say that, but no, surprised by those occurrences, and I'm happy for him if he's happy for his decision, and Mike will be just fine moving forward. But what it means for the election coming up, we'll see.
Yeah, I know that Roger's one of the people who encouraged him to do a write-in campaign back in 2013 when he was running for mayor after being, thrown off the ballot because of inconsistencies of whatever it was. It'll be interesting to see what happens from there with Mike Duggan. And do you think he endorses somebody?
I don't know. This is, once again, it's not our core competency being in the political swamp. I've been in enough of what's going on in Washington, D.C. the last few months, and which is why I'm grateful to be in the private enterprise side of things versus the public side.
So let's talk about the Chevy Detroit Grand Prix presented by Lear going on May 29th, 31st next week. Third year, is it the third year back on the streets of Detroit?
Fourth year.
Fourth year, okay. So what's going to be new with the race this time?
Well, we brought it downtown 4 years ago, which is a major undertaking, and Michael Montry and our entire team have just been the heavy lifters of this great event. And I like to always say that, remember this, we're only 5 cities in America that have an urban race. We're one of 5. We should be very grateful for that and respect that opportunity because not many people have it other than ourselves and a few other cities. But what's new this year is our tailgating on our parking decks. Remember, our parking decks surround our pit lane and the racetrack. No other place in the world has that view of what we have. Those are almost sold out.
Wow.
Our Sunday grandstands are reaching sell-out as well. Saturday, we still have some seats available. Sunday as well. But a number of new activities we put in, a new plaza and the hairpin in Turn 3 on Jefferson Avenue, that's sold out. So the momentum is terrific for us, but you can still go to DetroitGP.com and get your tickets.
The other thing that the race does, it really is a community endeavor. In fact, students, you have, in fact, Center for Creative Studies in Detroit. The poster that goes with the Grand Prix every year, there is a student that creates it. You had a contest where some of the students there created them, and you were a judge, as was Michael.
Judge?
I was a judge. It reinforced faith in the amount of talent, and we have here amazing posters here. But this really is with what the race is doing. It's not just the dollars and cents tied to the race, it's these other things, right? They're residual in the community.
Well, I always say it's the fun part is having a race, right? Everybody's excited about having these cars 180 miles an hour on Jefferson Avenue, the excitement, the sound, the buzz. But it's a byproduct of many of the things. And you mentioned the STEM initiatives we do with Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeast Michigan, the things we do for the Grand Premiere. Remember, we have now raised close to $10 million for local Detroit charities by having this race here. We're going to have our Grand Premiere again this Friday. I hope to raise another $1 million plus net for charities. Last year, I gave checks to 5 charities that were 6 figures for every one of them. So those are all the great things we do. We're bringing the small business straightaway back downtown. We're bringing 20 businesses from outside our city to display their wares. They could never have that without this race. So the race is great, but it's also what we give back to the community. Remember, half of the racetrack open is for free.
Yes.
And that's a key point of our mission as well.
Yeah, and I know we've got a lot more to talk about, including gearing up for your next race after in Washington, D.C., the Freedom 250. But we're going to take a break. We'll continue the conversation and keep it right here. Welcome back to Michigan Matters. We're talking with Bud Denker about what else but racing as it goes. This is the 60th anniversary year for Roger Penske that he's been involved with racing. His impact, Indy race going on today. He started his career. He started in racing because of Indy 500 as a teenager going to that race and was just hooked and been at it ever since here. What do you think his impact on racing is going to be? When it's all said and done and someone, say 10 years from now, looks back, what will they say?
Well, I think he's in every Hall of Fame possible across motorsports, no matter where it is across America or the world for that matter. So he's been such a legendary figure in racing in terms of his impact. Remember, he was a racer for many years. I think in 1960 he was a Sports Illustrated Driver of the Year. He won races in sports car, won races in NASCAR. He was in Formula One. He raced everything back in the day and then chose to go on the racing route or the business route versus racing route. And I always like to tell the story about he was invited to the Indy 500 to do a time trial test. He owned a GM dealership in Pennsylvania at the time. GM said they couldn't insure an owner, so guess who went in this place to do the test? Mario Andretti.
Well, there we go.
It worked for both people, didn't it?
Yes, they both went on to become legends in various ways here. Oh my gosh. Well, the Detroit race, speaking of impact, that you don't necessarily make money on this. It's run by a 501c3. It's a nonprofit, but it brings in so much money too, right?
It does, and that's the key piece to our community, from tax revenue to the businesses that are bulging at the seams in terms of that weekend. The hotels are all sold downtown. So we had a study 2 years ago, University of Michigan did, and over $101 million is brought into our community for that race week. $101 million. So you can never lose sight of that benefit to our community, but also the benefit I mentioned before about the charities that we give to. But remember, we're still the Motor City capital of the world, and we should feel proud about that. And to have racing in our downtown with IndyCar, but also with the IMSA sports cars, is a pretty cool thing. You
were here, some months ago now, talking about this race you're going to be doing to help celebrate the nation's 250th anniversary, the Freedom 250 Grand Prix, in the streets of downtown Washington, which you're modeling it a little bit after what you did Detroit. You are the person who is kind of overseeing this whole thing. Good God, bringing this race to life in a matter of months. This is just daunting. How is it going right now?
We could do 5 segments in your shows to talk about this journey, which started last July with this idea that I had to bring the race to our nation's capital to celebrate our 250th anniversary. That was the true mission of it. And it's taken a few zips and zags along the way, but with the president signing an executive order on January 30th to have our event on the streets of the nation's capital, we are ready to go for August 22nd, 23rd. 90 days from now, we're having a race. They normally take 2 years like Detroit did. I have 6 months in the most complex environment in probably the world to put it in, the downtown streets of D.C., including the National Park. We're going to zip down Pennsylvania Avenue about 185 miles an hour.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Legally. We're going through the National Park area with the National Mall, up Independence Avenue in front of the Capitol. It is going to be the most amazing spectacle our country will see for its 250th anniversary.
You're also giving away tickets for that event as well, too.
It's free. all the tickets we're having, anybody can come in for free. They have to have a ticket, via Ticketmaster. But if you went to freedom250gp.com, you register for that before May 29th, register on that site, there will be a lottery. We're going to allow 130,000 people in on Saturday and 130,000 people in on Sunday. Those seem like big numbers to me, but the Kite Festival last month had 500,000 people on the National Mall.
Oh my
So we are just expecting massive crowds. We haven't raced in the East Coast now in 12 years, so we're expecting the whole East Coast to come in, other people to come in to celebrate our country's anniversary.
So you're doing this end of August. Is this a race you want to continue again after this year? I know you're working tightly with the mayor there.
Yeah, Mayor Bowser has been an incredible mayor. With Mike Duggan leadership here in this city, I've got to know her quite well, and she has been an amazing leader for us in Washington, D.C. She's not going to run for mayor again in November, which is disappointing, but she has been a true partner of ours. My first meeting with her, I talked to her about Detroit and told her the economic benefit that we bring in, all of the initiatives we bring in. And by the way, any money left over from this event, we're a nonprofit there too, is going to go to her for nonprofit charities. And she asked me the first time I met her, Mr. Denker, can you do a 3-year deal with us? And I said, Madam Mayor, I respect that, but let's get through the first year first.
So going back to Detroit here, we've got that coming up next week here. What are you most looking forward to there?
You know, what energizes me is to see the youth that's there, the grandparents bringing their kids down, because they can bring them for free, right? Half the racetrack is open for free. You can't go to a ball and stick sport in our city for free, but you can come to our event with one of the most world-class events going on, in our country, and be there for free. So I love to see the diversity, the inclusiveness of what our event brings, and that to me probably brings the biggest smile to my face all weekend long.
Bud Denker, thank you so much for being here and talking about the race today, the race next weekend, and the race you have coming up in August. God bless you for all you and Roger and Michael and the rest of the team doing and bringing it all and making it interesting here in Detroit.
Well, thanks for your support as always, Carol. It's great to be on your show.
Great to see you too. All right, keep it right here. We're back with more Michigan Matters and talk about the stars after this. Welcome back to Michigan Matters. We're now joined by Letty Azar, Vice President of Community and Governmental Affairs at Penske Corporation, and Christian Greer, President and CEO of the Michigan Science Center. Great to have you guys here.
Great to be here.
It's good to be here.
Christian, it's been way more than a minute since you were last here. I was trying to remember it. I know. Yeah. How are things at the Michigan Science Center?
Things have been great. We're excited to come into this year. We've had strong attendance, which is sort of bucking a trend nationally. We have the opportunity to really sell memberships where people can come back with their families more often than not, and also to be able to engage school groups. So we have great partnerships with DPSCD as well as other schools, and we do great outreach. So things are going pretty well.
So the Science Center is tied in with the Smithsonian, correct?
That's correct. We're a Smithsonian affiliate.
Okay. So what's the mission of the Michigan Science Center? What is, if I were to say, write the headline of what is this organization about?
Well, our headline is really on the side of our building. If you go down Warren towards John R. in Midtown, you'll see plastered on the side of the building, it says, "We put you at the center of science." And what that means is we see science as being something innately human. Like anybody can be a scientist. It's a process. It's a set of ideas that you use to explore questions and seek answers. So we want for people to feel like there's a genius within, and we allow that to come out in our great exhibits.
And I know education's a big thing, and Letty, in your role at Penske Corporation, where you're involved with the foundation and the governmental affairs and the community programs here, just made a big donation for the planetarium, which has been renamed the Penske Planetarium, right?
It is.
Okay, so how does that fit in with the rubric of what you're doing within the corporate structure there?
Firstly, one thing I'd like to point out is it's pretty rare that we have naming rights on anything. Roger's very low-key. He contributes to initiatives not for the headline or the press conference or naming rights, but because he really believes in it. And I think, having the Penske Planetarium really speaks volumes to his level and the family's level of commitment to Michigan Science Center.
So the planetarium, which again, is now getting into this focus on space, in the stars, which I referenced at the start here. in terms of STEM and helping, particularly with young people, school and the STEM programs, that factors in too, right, with what's going on there?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's one of many STEM education programs that we've invested in, from the Grand Prix to Penske Corporation to the Penske Foundation. It's something very important to us. Education is very important to us. And I know, we spoke earlier about the Abu Dhabi program with Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Detroit.
Now, that is worth noting. I knew they had gone. What I did not know is they are the world champions.
They are the world champions.
So is there like so this is an autonomous?
Yeah, so the background on it is a group approached us. We agreed we wanted to stand up a mobility innovation program, right, that was really needed in Detroit. So we provided funding to stand up this mobility innovation program. And an autonomous coding company reached out to us and said, we have a professional competition every year for coding for smaller scale autonomous vehicles, but we really want to bring a youth component to it. We saw the press release on the Mobility Innovation Program and wondered, could the kids participate? Sure, sounded wonderful. I also sit on the board for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Detroit, so we thought, what a wonderful opportunity and great way to kick off the program. Long story short, we had to find 10 youth in a matter of about 6 weeks so that we could enter the program. They did not know each other. All but 2 actually knew each other in advance. They were from various Detroit high schools. Yeah. And as they went through this coding program, continued to progress in the competition, qualifying for the World Championships in Abu Dhabi in just 12 weeks' time. Wow. They beat out every high school and collegiate team in the United States to be the only team to represent the United States of America, and they came home global champions.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's such a cool story. Well, Christian, you do it too with a lot of the educational component, which the Michigan Science Center is about. It's with kids, young and older kids too. But in fact, you just had 1,000 students for STEM type programs there, right?
Yes, well, now we have to keep up with this competition here for these students being the best in the world. I think we're just trying to be the best in Midtown right now. But I think what Penske Planetarium does for us is it puts us on the map among the planetarium community. We recently had a Great Lakes Planetarium Association meeting, which we have multiple states participating. They come here, talk about planetarium design, strategy, new shows, content associated with Artemis, or new telescopes that are space-based from NASA. And we get a chance with this new renovation, 8K resolution, so it's really sharp when you walk through there. We have great contrast ratios, so the dark part of the skies really look dark. And we get to use real data from scientists, from NASA, from Smithsonian Astrophysics with Harvard, to bring that data into the planetarium. So it's a little different than when we were growing up. We would see these sort of illustrations of what a galaxy looked like or illustrations of the planets. In this case, you're using real images and data that are mapped across 3D structures in the planetarium, and you get to fly through it. And so that's the most exciting thing. And we actually have a partnership with Wayne State University next door, and Dr. Ed Cackett, an astrophysicist there, serves as our astronomer in residence. So we're trying to expand the impact.
Real quickly here before we go to break, the Artemis, the astronauts going around the moon, first time in 50 years and that kind of a situation here. Is that going to help get more young people interested in space aviation?
We hope so. These kinds of missions are so amazing when you think about it. We look at the moon, we see it every night, we look up, but you don't think about really going there and going around it. And that was the feat that was just accomplished, so it's amazing.
It was amazing.
Very inspirational.
I couldn't stop watching, waiting for them to go. They're going to make it. Go,
right.
Go. Anyways, we're going to take a break, speaking of going, but we're going to come back, so keep it right here. Welcome back to Michigan Matters. We're talking with Letty Azar and Christian Greer about Michigan Science Center and other things. I have to ask you both, because I know you both have connections of various types to Mike Duggan. Letty, you worked for him. You were in the neighborhoods. You ran the neighborhoods department. Your thoughts about him bowing out of the race and implications here? Where do we go from here?
Yeah, I think everyone's wondering what's next for Mike after this, right? But at the same time, we've seen him incredibly impactful, not just as an elected official, but certainly in the private sector as well. The larger question is what happens to his supporters. Mike struck a
What do you think?
I mean, he spoke to a lot of people in Michigan who don't feel properly represented by D's or R's, and so that is the largest question this afternoon.
Questions to be determined. I know you also have something quick on Mike as well.
Well, it's more that we engage the state. We're a nonpartisan organization, but we try to make sure that we get out to both urban and rural areas. And so we have initiatives that get supported to be able to do outreach programs. We actually bring a miniature version of the Penske Planetarium out to schools.
That.
And so that's a wonderful opportunity for us to engage schools who may not have these kinds of resources in their rural area or in their town.
Interesting, interesting. This hyperspace race through the universe.
Yes.
So is that an ongoing thing? What's it?
Yeah, so hyperspace race through the universe is part of a larger initiative. And in the context of Penske Planetarium, we have other programs that we do, like shows. And so this program was sponsored by Stellantis. And so we have connections between Stellantis, Penske, NASA, and others that have supported this project to be able to create a show that actually shows you about the large-scale structure of the universe. So we call it an astronomical or cosmic address that goes from your address, where we are here in Southfield, all the way out to the state of Michigan, to North America, to the planet Earth, and our solar system, and our local group of stars, all the way out through the galaxy.
And I know you have also this life-size cardboard maze that's talking about the city neighborhoods.
Yes.
Which I saw pictures of. I haven't been out there yet to see it, but it just sounded amazing.
Yeah, so Skillman Foundation and Ford Philanthropy, as well as Welsh Packaging, helped to come together to create something that really allows us to be able to dive into what we think is like a neuroscience activity, where you get a chance to learn about a maze and navigate a life-size cardboard maze and explore how to get in and out and through it. And so the cool feature about this is, one, it's the largest cardboard maze in the country. So this is an incredible thing. It's all 8,500 square feet, so it's a big space. We have outside decorated. We had artists come in to decorate for the neighborhoods in Detroit. So we have Eastern Market featured, or the main building at Wayne State, or other places like Ford Field, are all within our space that we have there. And so families came in and opened on Mother's Day weekend. They had a ball going through just getting lost.
If people are watching this and they want to see, I mean, the list is their website, they can go to say, here's the events we have. And I know you also have summer camps too,
Absolutely.
But is there a place where you can list all the activities for kids and adults and others?
Yes, if you just go online to my-sci.org, that's mi-sti.org, or just search for the Michigan Science Center. You'll see our website come up. Lots of cool videos about the things that we do. You can learn about our summer camps, learn about our outreach programs. We even have funding through Aramco Americas to support Title I schools, on-site and off-site, for free field trips and busing. So these are things that people may not know about.
Right. And you're expanding. You want to go to all 83 counties, right?
Yes, we've been to almost all the counties over the last 2 or 3 years, and we do a trip up to the UP every year. And so we're really excited to take Race Through the Universe up there and feature the Penske Planetarium, not just here in Midtown, but across the state, and people are very excited about that.
Letty, in your role within Penske Corporation and the foundation and supporting, you do so much within the community, as with the Detroit Grand Prix and also with things like Michigan Science Center. Is STEM the area that you focus on primarily with this?
No, really, we've focused on STEM and equally with arts and culture, right? The poster competition, you participated as a judge.
Yes, there was some amazing talent there, amazing drawings.
There really were, yeah. We have some talented youth. And then we have the digital design program with Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Detroit, back to Boys and Girls Clubs. But that digital design program's been wonderful. So, we do have a big focus on STEM, but it is not our sole focus. In STEM, if you think about it, we're automotive, right? And so it plays a big role in the industry that we serve.
Yeah, wow. Well, I know that the Grand Prix itself and events and having young people down there, there's going to be a lot of kids down there too.
A lot of kids down there, and Michigan Science Center. So if you do want to learn more about programming, you can find them on one of our rooftop activations.
There you go. Go down to the race. We're going to pray for good weather. Thank you guys so much for being here.
You.
Appreciate that. Thanks you at home for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you next Sunday for a little bit more Michigan Matters.